Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Cookiecast. Today on Cookiecast, we're revisiting Techiecast. Sam Muscroft and Edward Dench sit down to discuss various tech-related things, and they even had a special guest. Paul Williams came to join in to discuss all technology-related things. I think Ed was breaking out his tech toys for us to have a look at. But we basically had a go on Ed's VR setup, which was super cool, a lot of fun, and there was a lot of conversations around that. If I can work out how to do the video editing for this, there might be a special edit of this on YouTube, which might include some of the footage of us playing VR, but I'll have to see if I can work that one out. So here we go, this is Techiecast 2 on Cookiecast.
Whoa! Oh, he scares the fuck out of people. See, fun.
Completely unnecessary.
God, yes. Everything I own is unnecessary. It's why I have it.
Right.
So,
Right. So, we've got audio and loads of cameras, we've got loads of things going on. It's podcast time, let's do this. Just for novelty. Can you give me one of them?
Oh, a simple one of them.
Just a little one.
A little one.
I don't need it.
Just a wee one.
A wee boy. Or as Sam would say, fuck off.
Fuck off.
For fuck's
Fuck
sake.
you, you fuck.
You like a biscuit, boy?
I had a joyous one earlier. There's a lad in IT. He's Irish, very Irish. I wish I could do justice to the accent, but he was talking to the lads, and he made some comment about a bloke called Dino. And the other goes, Dino? Who the hell's Dino? They explained to us, you mean Dean? His name is Dean. You go, fuck off. This is why I don't go for fags with you anyway, you fucking prick.
You became Scottish, so
I can't do accents.
Not only Scottish,
but it was beautiful.
Scotty from Star Trek, who's a Canadian pretending to be a Scottish person.
It's the best
For
I can do.
rule of thumb, Edward, if you're ever going to attempt the Irish accent,
Alright, fine. This, that, there and the other. Make sure you give it a good yank.
say Dublin first, because Dublin is the word that's designed for the Irish language.
I always,
designed for the Irish language.
I'm the one who
Because
always says...
The Irish language.
The Irish language is a language, isn't it?
Say 33 and a third.
So what the fuck do I want with a caravan that's got no
I'm not doing
fucking wheels? That's the one you have to say. So, Techiecast
So,
2.
There you go, Techiecast back 2.
We...
Second Techiecast, already got a special guest.
Yay!
There's not on...
The novice.
Not on at least two.
The man who barely knows what a computer is.
We don't get more special than Paul.
I've played with computers before, actually.
Looking up porn on
I
the
had a
internet doesn't
Commodore
count.
64 last week.
You must be too young for a Commodore 64.
I think that was the first computer we ever had.
Oh, so your parents didn't love you, though.
Is that the one that had the top loading tape deck?
Yes.
Fucking did.
I mean, it was better. It was the good version, than the Spectrum, because it was just better.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was going to say, I never got to
tapes.
use a Spectrum.
Oh, I have used a Spectrum.
I might be on.
I have one. I have a ZX Spectrum. Oh, it's fucking
No.
awful.
No.
No. It's in an attic. It's
Rubber
not coming
keys
out.
and a lot.
Oh no, it's
Terrible.
just 20 minutes to load anything.
Yeah,
the keyboard had rubber keys.
Especially had rubber keys, because the whole thing was basically a cost-cutting exercise from the start. It's got rubber keys. It doesn't. The space bar is on like the far right, I think.
Excellent.
Mine's basically a keyboard. It just looks like a keyboard with a great big thing and deck at the end of it on the ZX Spectrum.
That's not the original ZX Spectrum.
It won't be
then.
the original.
Not
this.
Ant.
Hey?
Not Ant.
No, and.
Was it was it Spectrum Plus, the one that had 128k of memory? Is it that one?
God knows, it might be. I just know I've got one. It's in the attic in Raskelf.
Well, the original only had like 16k of memory, or did it? Also 48k of memory.
Pass.
You know, we send
Pass.
bigger emails now.
Yeah. So,
Techiecast.
We had intended this to be like gadgets and toys. I set up
Gadgets
a plethora
and
of them to
gizmos
work with,
aplenty.
but we got distracted by VR. So this is a VR special.
This is a VR special, and what a special time it was. I can safely say that's the most fun I've had in quite some time.
It was excellent.
I thoroughly enjoyed that.
It is really cool. There's no getting around it.
Simple immersion.
Yeah.
It is. And that game especially, so it was on the Oculus Rift, it's Robo Recall, it's free when you buy the Oculus Rift with the touch, but it is simple fun.
I think
Shoot robots, earn points. Can't go wrong.
So, quick question, brass tacks wise.
Yeah, so I was going to go straight in with to go from nothing to playing that game.
What are you looking at?
What we're looking money wise?
At least 8 to 900 for the computer that could run the Rift.
Yeah, if we're talking a
want-
GTX 970 is the absolute bare minimum.
I'd go with that
for that.
So let's work on the principle that
then-
not every single person picking up the podcast is going to be at that level. So break down what that means.
So you need a computer with
For
at
Paul.
least an i5 sort of processor. So you could run it on an i3. So you want 2.7, 2.8 gigahertz processor.
You'll want a decent middle of the range processor and a decent middle of the range graphics card.
Yeah.
So
which,
a 970 or 1060. So you're looking at probably about 200 to 300 quid for the GPU at the bare minimum to run this.
And it's still
and you got the rest of the
market.
computer to buy around. So it's probably about right, 800 to 900 at the minimum just
For the computer.
Just for the computer. Of course, you get a computer at that, and it's still a reasonably capable machine at that.
Oh yeah, I mean it can do other things.
So for all of the people out there that own a computer and they're like, oh well,
Can I run it?
I want to get into the VR world.
You'll need to build a computer for, or buy a computer with the capabilities.
Check your specs online. There are some simple websites that'll tell you anyway. So there is a wonderful one, Can I Run It, which will tell you your system spec and whether it'll run most things, including VR headsets.
You'll need a specific gaming computer. It's not something you can just buy at Dell. It's not something you can just turn in and put your laptop on.
Buy it, Dell!
Well, you can still buy Dell computers.
If you have a Chromebook, you're definitely not running it.
I'd like to buy a computer.
And then, once you've got that machine,
you can just buy
you
computers.
need at least
Dell.
£400 to £500 for an Oculus Rift and touch set.
Yeah.
But if you want the Vive as the alternative, you need £500 to £600. Again, depends where you buy it and when you buy it. The Vive is slightly more expensive, has slightly better tech inside of it, but it's not, as far as games
Is that
go.
the HTC?
Yeah.
HTC
That's
Vive.
Steam's.
Isn't there a second version of that? Either on the way or maybe here.
There is an Oculus Rift 2 in production, or supposedly, but there's a lot of rumours saying that's been cancelled. Oculus have also done a standalone unit, so you don't need a computer or a mobile for it, but obviously it will have limited games and power processing because it will all be mobile chipsets.
Yeah, because as we were saying before, it's powering 2 screens at a high frame rate, and that high frame rate is basically necessary for VR to not make you feel violently ill.
Yeah. I mean, the easiest way to really start the idea of do I want to do VR is buy a cheap and cheerful thing for your phone, that sort of thing, whoever can see it. You stick your phone in it, find some games on the Android store and see if you like the idea.
I would say the realistic way of doing it cheap and cheerfully
on the Android
is the PSVR.
Well, if you go into bigger, I mean, just to see if you can deal with VR and like the concept, do one of those and see if you like it.
Yeah,
if you do, fine. PlayStation VR is the most affordable.
PSVR is by far the most affordable way of doing
because for 600
this.
quid you'll get a PlayStation.
I've never used it, so I can't comment on it. So how it works.
I have held off on the PlayStation VR purely because I don't agree with spending the price of a PlayStation on a piece of kit for a PlayStation.
It's about 300 quid then for a...
350 it came out at. I think they've dropped it to 300 new.
So you can pick
I've
one
seen a couple of sort of 250 second hand.
If you've got
sort
the
of
camera, so I think if you've got the camera already, you could probably just get the headset alone for 250.
Are you likely to have the camera though?
No.
Well, when you buy the headset, I think you get the camera no matter what because it has to have that for the head tracking. The touch controllers are the optional bit. So that's
Are they the
what knocks it
PlayStation
up to
Move
300.
controllers
Yeah.
basically?
Yeah, so you basically buy the headset and you buy that separately. So you've got the choice of both or just head tracking.
I know
Head
obviously
tracking's a nicety.
because the thing about VR, of course, is that it's got its own ecosystem.
Oh god, yeah.
So on PC, like you can't just like make all of your games on Steam work via VR, and I imagine the same is true of PC of the PS4 VR thing as well. So you're not only buying £300 for your headset, you're also narrowing your ecosystem, and none of your current PS4 games are playable on it. You're effectively buying a completely new system for this.
I think so the PlayStation, the games aren't cross-compatible. You have to buy the version which is PS4 VR supported or not.
There is only, and I could be completely wrong, I'll be happy to look this up and correct myself if that's the case. I think there is only one game that I can name that is both. I think Resident
Evil 7.
Yeah,
is the
so
one.
that has a VR mode.
I think
with the head tracking.
If you buy the game and you own the VR,
but it isn't motion controlled. So basically, you play it and you feel like you're in there, but you are doing it all off joysticks and controls, and that's where I think VR is failing. Too many games are doing that, and it makes you feel so fucking ill. Characters moving and you're not. It's motion sickness, just terrible.
I think as well is that VR just has a more limited audience, because obviously VR came out maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it's going to be the next big thing. We'll all be using VR, but it's like 3D TVs. A lot of people
we always
particularly like I was going to say, particularly trying to slam you at every occasion with like a 3D TV.
Every
the point is that not many people bought 3D TVs. Because
a lot, didn't they?
No, they didn't. That's why I can't fucking buy them anymore.
Well, this is the thing though. He bought one, and a couple of my mates who used to live in London on a 3D TV, and they had specifically bought.
Was Andy and your two mates? Was that enough to sustain an entire industry for?
Yes, thriving.
Because which is why we can go to you go to Curry's and just buy a 3D TV off the shelf now.
Didn't Curry's go? Oh no, that's cool.
The point is not to slam Andy. That's just a byproduct. It's more that to do your 3D TV, we had to get glasses for everyone involved who wanted to watch said 3D TV.
It's true.
And then a lot of people don't like 3D, me included, because it dulls the colours and sometimes it can just gives you a headache.
Yeah.
So we've already what we've done is make TV a pain in the arse.
Excellent.
And the same,
always what you want.
And the same is somewhat true of VR. It's an inherently kind of solitary experience because you can sort of watch people doing it, but it feels like it doesn't necessarily, like compared to, let's say, motion controls, it doesn't necessarily translate to a party environment. It feels almost like something you'd want to do at a party because it doesn't. Let's face it, as these games, they're great fun, absolutely no doubt.
That was super fun,
but there's no depth to any.
I really enjoyed that.
You don't get compulsive stories really. So there's one game out I know of that has got a storyline to it, but again, it's that Echo one, the actual campaign, the story version of it. Moving around, it's so disorientating.
I know Hellblade has a VR version, and that's a very story-focused game. I have no idea how it would work.
Doom has a VR version, and I mean, there is a...
Oh man, that would make me feel so ill.
No, because it works exactly like that does, except Doom monsters come at you.
Back in the day,
imagine the BFG.
I think my brother used to play Doom on
like the 386, 486, like the old Doom.
The original Doom on Windows 95.
No, I think it must have been
DOS games,
something like that. But he had to stop playing it because it was giving him motion sickness.
So we talked about this earlier about how there are certain games like first-person shooters were notorious back in the 90s.
Again, I think something to do with field of view, something's like motion smoothing. It's hard to tell what makes you... Because some of them do. The original Half-Life makes me feel ill playing it, and I've no idea why.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I get it must be something to do with the way the movement happens in it, field of view, something about it makes me ill.
sustain, I think it's because you sit too close to your monitors.
But that's
a field further of view back, thing. It would you wouldn't have that illusion.
But playing Doom 2016 is an amazing game.
Yeah.
But playing it on VR, I think that would make me feel violently ill within maybe 3-4 seconds.
I don't think it would, because again, it's not running like
so that. So fast though.
It's kind of like that is.
And it's the thing is, you're expected to jump around like a lunatic in that game as well. So
there is one that would do that one, and it is exactly that. Your character does run and slide across the floor and everything else, and it is just Oculus in the store. When you're actually going to buy things, they have a comfort rating. So any game that goes comfy, it's fine. It's basically that. Really easy.
Is that basically the blowing chunk scale?
Whereas some of them do actually rate it. So,
it's like it goes from comfy to pavement pizza.
On the actual comfort level. So comfy is basically what we've just done. Uncomfortable is moving slowly with a joystick, and then there are certain ones which just say intense.
Is that maximum fuck? That's
Basically your character is sprinting through a woodland and everything is coming at you.
Oh god, it's got maximum fuck and I'm going to throw up.
They are terrible. But yeah,
so, something about VR, and I think kind of what you were touching on saying about it's a very solitary thing. You play it on your own. You know, you can't play multiplayer, you can't play things like that. Something that I always, because I own a PlayStation, I ummed and ahed and went, I'm not spending that kind of money, that sort of thing. But I also had this thing like, let's say you're playing your VR, and like in a situation where you're not the only person in the house, inevitably something is going to happen. There's going to be a situation where you're in the room where you're playing the VR and you're doing the thing, and the other person's going to be like, and they're going to creep in and they're going to like, wait for a good point, looking at the TV, looking at you, and then they're going to poke it, and you are going to void your bowels.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say like smack someone around the face, like.
Yeah, so
which could also be
You nearly knocked me out like 8 times. I was sitting over there. And
but
you're
that's
like,
the thing. It's so.
We actually have videos of this.
In fairness, it's so immersive, and you can't see or hear anything else.
No.
So like, if you know, it's. I find it really really cool, but really disorientating.
So I put the headset on and it was blurry, and Ed did like the adjustments and stuff, and you gotta get it in the right area and all this. But from the moment I put it on, I felt like I was going to fall over backwards.
That was my.
And I was proper like, I'm a bit scared that I'm just going to fall over.
So my
have you ever put like? There's a video of someone dropping cheese on a cat and it just freezes suddenly. That was you? Yeah, no.
My main sort of.
Worry.
I'm trying to think of the word.
Worry, concern?
No.
Paranoid?
Experience.
Yes, that's the one. My main sort of experience with it is seeing clips on Twitter and stuff like that about people that put it on.
So it's the people testing them in the shops that are doing all the stuff and then just literally go.
So the best one that I saw was Ronnie O'Sullivan.
A
snooker player, yeah.
Wow! I did not expect any of you to get that one.
Even I know that.
Right, that's fine. So they got him to put on a virtual reality headset and play the snooker game.
Oh god,
I've
heard of this.
And then he went like this to lay on the table and hit the deck.
Yeah.
Straight away.
There's the famous video of the guy in the shop testing it, and he's like doing all this stuff, and then he just goes forward. But obviously in a shop setup, you've got the TV in front of you, you've got all the equipment, but you're stood like where we were stood here. If you fell forward, you'd be through the TV, into the wall, into the...
Yeah,
and that's how it's set up in the shop.
Up in the smoking room, and it's not quite the space we have here. There's a couple of punch marks in the wall where I almost broke my hand.
I did. This room's a reasonable. I would say this is an average size room for this country. And I would say this is the absolute bare minimum.
Yeah,
I would.
And this has always been that thing of where you go to buy something. I remember the Kinect for the 360.
Yeah, another really good example.
So they were like, right, we're going to sell you something to a market that doesn't exist, because they went, right, your TV's here, your Kinect's here, you need to have 20 feet.
Maybe in America, but in the UK, no way.
How many rooms have you ever been in a normal house that could accommodate that? And I think they eventually got it down to about 10-foot room. And they could adjust it so that you could be about 6 foot away. But I had a Kinect, and I used to have to go and stand behind a chair.
Well, I'm just trying to think, if you're basing it on this room, this is what, maybe 12 foot square?
Yeah, it's about 12 by 10. I think that one's 10.
I was going to say, at best you'd say 12 by 14. Or
give or take, maybe, yeah.
So and that's if you go corner to corner.
Yeah.
I've got stuff in this room. So.
Yeah, so I mean,
so you're going to struggle with that.
I've put everything in a very careful way so it goes around. So I've got just enough space that I can basically stick my arms out and spin, and that is VR space. But if I walk slightly to left or right, I'll hit someone. So as Sam almost found out.
Because is the Kinect not just part of the Xbox now? It comes
it's not anymore.
So the 360, you could buy it as a unit. Then they sold them with the Kinect.
Yeah.
And then when it went to the Xbox One was sold with Kinect as
built
standard.
Or as an add-on?
Still a separate thing. But if you look at mine in my room, mine's a separate thing off to one side. The thing about the Kinect was, I used the one for the Xbox One. I've used once. And that was on the first day I had the Xbox One. I put it all out, and I got FIFA 15.
I don't know why you're giving me a number, they're all the fucking same.
Came with a QR code.
No.
That you could hold up to the Kinect, and it went, oh, we've registered that you've got a free game, and we'll download it automatically. That is the only time I've ever used it.
Please tell me it didn't
work.
work.
Come. That you don't get an Xbox and a Kinect. I think the Kinect is just...
The Kinect is one of those things that almost killed the Xbox One, though, to begin with, because that's the reason it was so much more expensive than the PS4 when it first came out. They enforced the Kinect on people, and people were like, I don't want Kinect. Motion controls felt kind of dead, and the Kinect felt like very much like a solution in search of a problem.
See, I think it was a good idea that was just poorly executed.
It
you have a controller, brilliant. That's not a bad
It suffers
plan.
from the same thing that all of these do, and this actually doesn't suffer from, which is haptic feedback or lack of it.
Do you remember Xbox Smart Glass?
Yeah.
Was going to be the solution to everyone's problem. You were going to play a game,
and have
if
it
you
on
owned
your
a
app.
tablet, so if you owned an iPad or one of
great idea.
But Xbox Smart Glass on, you're playing your game. Oh, I need to look at a map. So you don't press the map button on the controller. You go to your tablet, you go, oh, the map's here, I can move around on the map, I can press all the buttons, do all that.
I'm going to give you a chance to turn the tables here.
Never used it.
Would you like to take the chance to turn the tables? There was another wonderful engineering concept that no fucker in the world would possibly buy because it was a stupid concept with a stupidly tablety controller that no one else ever would buy.
Oh, he's gone for it. He's brought the
I remember pretend the Wii U
that
was anything utter dog shit.
You've got one too!
I own a Wii U!
Yeah, and we both think it's dog shit. So
possibly
wait a second. Wait,
one of the worst.
How on that? I'm so flabbergasted. I can't even form sentences.
Well, yeah.
How on earth have we got to this point of any podcast we've done, and I've never known that not only did he have a Wii U, you fucking had one as well?
So I'm sure we've mentioned it.
So the fact that every time we do a podcast at his and I say, Sam, am I okay to still unplug the Wii U? Are you going to use it anytime soon?
I'm aware that he's got one. It was the fact that I was talking about the fact that you had one.
Oh, mine.
You see, where I compulsively buy crap, he does compulsively buy crap as well. 3D TVs, Wii U's, I just buy other rubbish.
I consider the Wii U the worst console I ever owned.
I would love a 3D TV.
Worse than a Sega Saturn?
I never owned a Sega Saturn.
I feel I'd need at least
I really wanted a Sega Saturn.
Things when the Sega Saturn came out, I was 9 years old. I couldn't afford to just buy consoles whenever I felt like it. Then I had to,
beg and plead.
Well, I had to, get the it was PlayStation or N64. So
I got my N64.
I did have both eventually.
Yeah, I really want. Was Sega Saturn the same time as
earlier
PS and?
It's just roughly the same era.
So the PlayStation turned up as a result of a collaboration between Nintendo. PlayStation and Sony and Nintendo. Sony was going to produce a CD-ROM drive for
like
Nintendo.
they did with the Mega CD.
Yeah. But then Nintendo basically then went, you know what, we've changed our mind. And Sony went, well, this is a whole lot of fucking work down the drain. Hang on, guys. We can make our own.
And
that's just crazy enough to work. And fuck me, it did. And that's how the actual
Which is why the
PlayStation
original PlayStation controller is incredibly similar to the SNES controller. Yeah. It's got a couple of extra shoulder buttons, but it's otherwise identical.
What? Because it's grey.
It's got 4 buttons on the front, a D-pad.
Yeah.
You bought it. D-pad. You went for it.
Anyway.
It's got the love hand.
When was the last time anyone used the D-pad for any game?
I use a D-pad all the time. Any
game. Depends what game.
It's a 2D game.
No.
2D platformers.
Fighter. No. Yeah, 2D platformers. Fighters.
Change your modes. Put your swords away. Yes.
There's loads of games. Are you going to play a 2D platformer on a fucking control stick?
You tell me. Can I still play Paperboy and throw papers using my D-pad?
Let's go around to his house. We'll take the D-pad off every one of his controllers and see how fucking long he lasts.
He doesn't play games. He'd get really fat with that.
Yeah, but I won't be able to.
You're right. Most modern style games use the D-pad as basically a fancy menu or
an alternate selection system or alternate triggering.
But yeah, more old school games definitely use the D-pad.
Well, yeah, because that's how it was built.
But yeah, so
but they still make games like that.
For the VR bit, then, from someone who's never really used one,
yeah,
would you do it again? Would you tell something else?
It was. I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't that.
Was it better than you expected?
It was. I couldn't believe how big the landscape was.
Yeah, the depth actually threw you.
It was ridiculous. Like when I took it off after playing it,
you suddenly realise you're in a tiny little space.
That was the weirdest thing.
It's incredibly immersive.
At the end of this, I'll put you in one thing, which is, before you load games, I have a room. The load area, I have my own room. I can get things, and I can earn new things by playing games, so I get new sofas and new pictures and things.
But you can't sit down?
Yes, I actually can, because I've set up a sofa in there, so when I'm sitting on my sofa, I feel like I'm sitting in a sofa. It's fucking awful.
Incredible.
But it's just so you've got an environment that you can then actually go and see other people. So if you befriend people, you can go to their room and see how they've set it up.
So if
If
I somehow have managed to come up with the several £1,000s that we worked out we needed to sort of do,
You're probably looking at about £2,000 realistically.
I can friend you on it.
You would, you need about £1,500 to do it well.
Yeah.
Each. So it'd be a penny.
It's more that when you take into account how much does the actual thing
have you
do
seen
that
Ready
cost?
Player One? I know you have. Ready Player One as a concept and the Oasis, they're all sort of trying that because Steam's version has the same. They have a room, an environment that you can configure and make your own. And they're all working to this idea that you can earn your shit and make it your own personal space and advertise your successes. And I love that idea. I think it's really good.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah. You look really puzzled by that.
It just, when you said that, it brought up something in my head. I'm just thinking, where does Second Life fit into this sort of
But
stuff?
Second Life is kind of like a super old school MMO, really.
But in theory, could you
I don't see why not.
adopt the principle to have Second Life but in virtual reality?
I don't see why not.
So what
If
was
we built
Second
from the
Life
ground up to
basically?
do
Was
so.
that the one where you basically get a job and live a secondary life?
I think so.
concept?
The way I understood it was that it was basically fancier Sims.
Yeah, it was largely. It was
It will happen. As soon as one of them wants to create... The problem is they'd have to get that into a server realm where all the information is very basic installation and everything else comes from the server, which will need hellish speeds to actually track your motions, upload it there and record everything so that they can make that expansive a universe. It can't be localised on your computer.
I don't see
It'll
it.
have to be bigger.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason why, if built from the ground up, it could not work, though.
Yeah. If you make somewhere like that, I mean, I'm sure there's a VR version of the whole bloody block system thing. I hate that game.
Sims?
No, squares everywhere.
Minecraft.
Thank you.
I
There's a
believe
there is a VR
Minecraft.
Minecraft. And Minecraft is the closest thing to a Second Life we have because literally you can do what the hell you like in it. You can make expansive worlds. Do
I
that
still
in
don't
VR.
really get what Minecraft is.
No.
It's
The
a
problem-
make your own fun kind of game.
Think of
there's
like
no real objective
really
to it.
shit Lego.
It is, but there's no objective to it. You just you just do what you want.
Is Minecraft the one where you play it online or you play it through a computer, but you can actually buy stuff that's actually physically there? There was another game that was like that, and I can't remember whether it was Minecraft or not.
There's a few out there where you can buy things for the game.
Yeah, I mean, like Skylanders is the one.
That might have been it.
Yeah, there's a new one of those coming out for the Switch.
Skylanders, the Nintendo
Star Fox.
Amiibos are very similar.
Yeah. So Skylanders, you bought the figurines, which when you put on there would unlock them in your game.
Right, okay.
And that turned into Disney Infinity, which also did the same. You buy the Infinity characters.
Well, I
but buy
gather
the
that,
unlocks,
so that kind of
games.
fails.
Is that what this like Nintendo Wii blocks or whatever it's called?
Well, you've got the Amiibos, which are like, you know, it's usually used for like Smash Brothers and stuff, where you can scan in certain things and it'll.
NFC triggered characters.
Yeah, exactly. And NFC, that's what I was saying.
If you actually hop on Google, there's a load of things that explain how to make your own versions, and you'd have to buy the Amiibos. You can just do it without. But yeah.
As a novice in the
Gaming world.
VR world,
Intelligence world, yes.
I mean, are you going to be jumping back into
Oh, he is. At the end of this, I'm putting him in another.
playing VR? You know, how easy was it to pick up as a first-time user, not a hardcore gamer, etc., etc.?
I struggle with some of the controls.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not used to doing it. Like, it's like whenever I go to
Sam is
someone's
a
house,
gamer and he struggles with
whenever I go to
It's
someone's house,
actually quite alien.
It's always,
Yeah.
it's always the same. It's always the same concept. You go to someone's house and it's like, oh yeah, do you want to have a little game on like COD or whatever? Is it still even called COD?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think
Call of Duty.
the world just refers to it as shit.
Well, yeah, there's always that, and it's a case of I can't play it because I don't know how to strafe properly. And people are like, what do you mean you don't know how to strafe?
But you
It's
use
like,
the right word.
I can't move around and turn my head quick enough. Otherwise, this is normally how it goes. Blah 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 blah. Turn around. Oh, that's someone just shooting me in the face, and I'm dead. I've respawned.
Yeah.
I'm trotting around. Oh, I'm dead.
You're right, Paul, because we've got like years and years of building up Like you give us a first-person shooter, and fundamentally they're all the same.
Yeah.
So if you control one first-person shooter,
Yeah,
but this idea that you can just throw it at someone like completely cold, say, oh yeah, this is how you change. You've got this controller full
Press
of
this
buttons.
button and you'll be fine.
You've got to work out how to move around in 3D space properly.
Yeah.
And that's a lot to throw at someone who hasn't
And
had the
that
building
makes
blocks.
sense to me.
It's when people have ever said to me, "Oh, you're really good at this. You can do the moving and you can do the looking and it's like I've probably put
What's that old
thousands of
hours.
hours.
There's that old saying that says 10,000 hours at anything will make you an expert.
Yeah, that's across the board.
That's per game.
Yeah.
That's 10,000 hours per game.
That can't be right.
Every game is different.
Driving.
Every game is different.
Driving's not the
Because
same.
although the base controls and
slash.
FPS are the same,
Yeah.
there's little mechanics are different. Doom is a first-person shooter,
Sure.
and it's nothing.
But I bet
like
if you gave a mouse and keyboard to someone who had never used that control scheme, they would struggle.
Yeah, as I say,
Because it's so very different to a controller.
Mm.
And likewise, I know people who are used to mouse and keyboard who don't know who are given a controller, and it's like, yeah.
Well, mate, this might be a stupid question to ask.
There are no stupid questions, Paul.
Can you still get a joystick?
No stupid people.
yes.
You can, but you
do
would have
people still use them?
almost
Yes,
no
they do.
use for it.
Yeah, most of it tends to be arcade sticks for fighters. And
Or
No,
you can get
you
really
can actually
elaborate
buy-
joysticks for flight simulators.
I'm going to say it's flight simulators, and it's because the games support multiple displays, so you can actually set
I
up
see.
a virtual cockpit.
I seem to think
Front
that's
and left and right
there's
views
a
with all
new,
of the
there's a new
Cockpit.
Ace
I know
combat
it's not.
coming out.
It's a term for piloting, not just your bedroom,
Not just a whole filled with dicks.
and that's why one per list.
There's a new Ace Combat coming out, and I think for the release of it, they're doing a joystick.
Do you remember Steel
Joystick?
Battalion?
I owned it. I had that for the Xbox. It was fucking amazing.
It's worth a lot of money these days.
I know. It was
was
about.
Steel
it was a game
Battalion
for the
had,
Xbox.
it had its own specific controller for the game. It cost like £200 to buy.
Plus, it came with the controller.
Yeah, it was like it was a
do you know,
mecha game.
you know what a mech warrior is? A tank on legs.
So like
Oh,
a giant,
yeah.
The
it's a
things
giant
in
robot.
Star Wars that
Yeah,
look
those
like,
sort of things.
look like sort of robotic dogs.
Yeah,
or
that sort of
robotic
thing.
giraffes or whatever.
You were in one of them, but the game came with a 4-piece controller because it came with pedals as well.
Excellent.
The two sides had 2 joysticks, and there was about 60 buttons all in the middle, including an ejector button underneath a cap. The game
Amazing.
actually had permadeath. If you failed to get out of the machine in time,
failed to
it would
eject,
wipe your game.
It would wipe your save game. It was
Which
amazing.
it was unbelievably difficult. As you were fighting, your thing was
This
getting
is
knocked out.
incredible.
So you had to have
the thing and
careful precisional placement of this with the arms and go like that to make your thing stand. God, it was awful.
Right, okay then.
Flares, fire extinguishers.
In a similar vein, is
Put
it
that
still,
in VR.
Is it still possible to buy
that.
the car setup for driving it?
you buy like a
Again,
wheel.
yes,
pedals,
it
yeah.
is.
So pedals,
Yeah.
wheel, if you need it, a gear stick.
Yeah, they're really
Yeah.
elaborate now, though.
But I imagine they'd probably just adopt the
Flippers.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
in you just have the paddles at the
Yeah,
back.
but you can still get the ones with the pedals and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. But obviously, for changing gears, you'd have your.
You can-
Obviously, we all want the one that the guys built. That's the seat with all the stuff, and it like pivots and stuff in the middle.
Yeah,
of the room.
Afterburner.
Yeah.
Afterburner was fucking brilliant. The arcade version. I always said I was going to buy one of those when I could afford one.
What was the game called where you had stuff like that? There was a specific road racing game.
Ridge
Was
Racer.
it? No, it might have been called Afterburn.
Afterburner.
Yeah.
Afterburner was the plane one that had its like the moving cockpit.
I can't
So
remember.
Big famous.
Terminator 2.
Yeah, I was going to say Terminator 2 is what made it famous.
There's only really I never really got as you may have already guessed from my previous experience. I never really got into games that much. I mean, like when I keep calling it the PS, and I don't want to call it the PlayStation 1. It's just the PlayStation to me.
It seems a little ironic to be shunning him for being into sports and cool things.
Oh,
God, you-
Sports.
Sports.
What a geek.
Lots of
shit.
cool things, eh?
What a geek.
What a
God,
geek.
as a
dubious.
seasoned veteran
Who was
of game
dubious
playing,
though? Because you were
but-
quite adamant.
Yeah, so you were very. I get motion sickness. It makes me very ill. I don't want to play it. But I think you were a little bit like me watching Paul playing that because I kept sitting there and it was up on the screen and I was like, I want to play the robot game.
That was the thing.
I want to play the robot game.
Obviously, because the way it's set up, you've got the earpieces over
Yeah.
your ears.
Yeah.
But every now and again, I could hear Ed just saying, is he shooting at the right thing? I was like, sort of like, wait,
Well,
we
on the
you
screen,
could see what I was shooting at, but
you were looking down, but you were still shooting, and we were like,
So
well, how is he shooting
I think it's
the
the
thing?
angle of the headset when you were wearing it, but
more than likely.
it's fine.
So you were not super excited about having.
I think
but
I've done
watching
VR
that-
before and it's made me feel ill before, which I wasn't super keen on. Thinking, let's
Yeah.
jump in back into the thing that makes me feel ill. And it did make me feel a little bit queasy, but not too bad. I think we said it's things that have lots of movement in them.
It's motion sickness. It makes your head think I'm moving when you're not.
That's
And
exactly
what
it.
throws
And because
people.
because it's teleports,
But that one
rather
doesn't.
than because you teleport rather than moving about. I don't seem to have that brain movement disconnect on that one. So that one was fine, and it's really immersive. It's really cool. It's just a lot of money for what is essentially a gimmick.
But you can
It's
see
a cool
the
gimmick.
The potential of it's there though. If they can make more things that are that immersive and
It's
fun.
just got such a high barrier to entry.
I think my issue isn't the entry; it's the actual aftermath. Getting into it's fine, but once you're into it, what do you get for it? If every game was like that and as fun as that, it'd be great. But most of them aren't. They're really
By barrier to entry, I don't just mean necessarily having the money to buy the computer or buy the PlayStation or whatever. You've also got to have a room suitable for it.
Yeah, true.
And there's a lot of conditions that make it not suitable for everybody. And this feels like you need like a critical mass of people to... And that's why VR hasn't failed, but it's definitely not this like massive thing.
So, bringing it back to the cost thing, you said that when you bought it, that game that we just played was free with it.
Yeah.
So
How
that's
much are the games retailing at?
that's an absolute
Anything
winner.
from £3 through to 60. If it's a big scale release, it will the same price as any new release. Whereas some of them are turning out at £3. The Accounting Plus one, which is the Rick and Morty themed, terribly animated. Can't play it more than once because it's not fun twice. They wanted like 17 to 20 quid for that.
When
and
you
it's
said
not worth that money.
When you said Accounting Plus then, I just had this theory that you'll basically put on the headset and you're basically sat at a bank desk.
That is the joke. You're not, but that is the joke. They go, we're doing VR accounting, it's the future, VR accounting, and then it goes batshit crazy.
Nice.
And it is very fun, and it was entertaining, but it's not a game, it's an experience. It's here, try
It's a
VR and
once
see
thing.
what you think. It wouldn't be worth paying 20 quid for, and I'd say that about
I
the
do
Rick and
feel
Morty
like you're
game.
possibly selling this quite... Because this was great fun.
It really was.
I'm already like, can I move in with Ed?
Well, when you consider that you pay 300 quid for a Switch, and one of the games they sell was the 1-2 Switch, which was a collection of mini games that demonstrated the function of the Switch, but they wanted to charge you 60 quid.
And
for
that was notably
that
terrible.
should have been a free game.
That should have been a packing game. Should have been like Wii
This
Sports.
came with that, and I still
No,
rate it as the most
PlayStation
fun game
demo
I've got
disc.
because everybody gets on with it. It shoots shit.
But that for me was like by the time I finished playing it, I was already like, well, what sort of combinations can you do? Can you like grab that and do this and like can you aim the guns in different
But
directions?
if that's the
And
best...
the answer was yes.
I'm
so
actually
everything I tried,
surprised.
like turning the gun on its side and stuff, everything was yes. And
I'm
like,
really annoyed that none
besides,
of
can I have a good
you
like
tried
this?
to throw it in the
Why
air
do
and
you want
catch it
birthday
again.
boy?
I'm disappointed.
I'll be honest, I was
Yeah.
constantly worried about hitting things.
Name the Andy.
Namely me, 'cause we-
But I was constantly worried about what, so I was a bit ginger in terms of how...
Well, I had the blue because you were like you need to aim the gun and because I'm on the guns like this.
I noticed that you were very close to you.
As I said to Ed, I was like, yeah, but if I do that, I go out the blue barrier. And he was like, oh, we'll move backwards. I was like, all right. And then after that, I'm like,
That's the thing,
boy,
so
shotgun.
obviously I don't know because obviously I was in it, but
do you get all the guns?
you felt like you moved around a lot.
Do we get?
All the guns.
Yeah.
Did I move around
Six
a
shooter,
lot when I was
plasma.
playing? 'Cause
Oh,
it felt like I
turn
was
the
just
shotgun
stood
into a
still
grenade
quite a
launcher.
lot.
I felt like I was stood still, but I
felt
obviously
like I
was
was
moving around a
turning
lot.
more than I was moving, if that makes sense.
I don't know what I was in, but both of you were like, I think one point you were facing over there and one point you were facing over there. And it was saying on the screen, turn round.
It was quite
face
funny
that.
watching Sam because every now and again he just basically turned straight towards me and Ed and
Point
just
a gun
basically-
at you.
and it'd be like turn around Sam and then at one point he went what? Because obviously he just heard Sam and he was like yeah.
I'm going to go back to the
But yeah,
hardware.
it's disorientating, especially if you've never played the game before.
I want to actually go back to the hardware concept because you keep mentioning the audio. How did you find it? Do you feel like the actual audio is behind you and in front of you? Because you did the actual tutorial,
Yeah, so
demonstration, and you shat yourself.
there is a 3D sound.
But did you feel like it was around you? Because I give that such credit for the surround sound.
It did feel like the sound wasn't just coming
into your ear, but it was coming around.
Coming in your ear.
It
felt like
it feel like it reached around you and really delivered.
It felt like the sound was organically produced from the surroundings you were in.
See, I give it's that level of detail that gives it that immersion.
Yeah, it's super immersive. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, you look into it, and as you're putting the thing on and you're adjusting it, and when you get it in the right place, you're like, I'm totally in this world by the sound, like that, and you're there and you're doing it. And obviously, you're playing a game, but you are sound and you've lost your senses to it.
It definitely feels like your on-rail shooters are the natural place for this.
No, because it's on rails, and that's the catch. If the rails move you, you feel ill. I think that's where this teleportation.
You can also. I know they did Galgun VR on Steam, so I'd look that one up.
So what? Are you? So when you
I know what Galgun is. I know full well where your dirty little mind has gone to.
So when you said
no,
I think I may have mentioned it on this podcast before, but Galgun is a. You are shot by Cupid accidentally. And Japanese schoolgirls are irresistibly attracted to them.
Nice.
And you have to use your pheromone gun to knock them out, to make them dizzy with love.
I would also like to point out this.
And they've done a VR version of this.
So you shoot them with your love.
You shoot them.
I watch a series of YouTube channels, all to do with top 10 thises, and one of which was the worst paid DLC for games. And Galgun, I think, was second or first.
I know what this is.
For the £50 privilege of an X-ray gun.
The X-ray vision where you can look at the
and it was something like 50 quid. On top of the base game, just
bear
so
in
you
mind,
can see
the company that
their
made it
clothes.
are now $1 billion company, no doubt.
Well, I know sex sells.
I would say they've got a somewhat niche audience, would be a very charitable way of describing them.
Yeah, and I'm sure that niche audience isn't the audience that has any money.
Based on the
because they spent it all.
DLC,
they spent it all on knickers or whatever.
Soiled.
I just want to point out how often you complain about being broke.
He's got you there.
I don't expect it's just from
What can I say? Those dolls need draining.
Did you say no? It's Nick.
It's knickers.
I was going to give you the benefit of the doubt and go, I'm sure it's the amount of money.
I hate to say
do that.
It's an unfortunate feature of most technology, though, is perversion is what tends to progress it. DVDs only became popular because of porn. Because the main
true. I'm sure I've heard
feature,
you say this before.
Yeah.
Apparently, whatever format porn lands on first wins the race.
Yes.
That's why
the main
VHS
selling
won over
feature.
Betamax, that's why DVD
Say
DVD.
ones like the porn industry have always been very open to sort of technological advances.
The main selling point of DVD when it came out was multi-angle. How many films have you seen where you could change the perspective of the character you're watching? None. Where could you probably find that? Porn. And it is unfortunately a feature. Porn drives...
Wherever porn goes...
Sex basically does drive these
I'm sure we're talking about there will be VR pornography.
There's a plethora, I know for a fact there is. And it's not from watching it, it's from watching my cousin make his mother watch it, which was terrifying.
I don't need...
Tom, if ever you watch this, it's because you're a twisted little man. Oh, he is. But there will be...
I'm sure that will have actually sold the technology to some people as well.
It will. There will be a whole array of things for VR.
Either turning up or out.
No, that's the problem. It's probably straight people that are doing this. The queers
don't have I'm starting to think that Paul's actually pricing all this up and looking at his bedroom in his head going, I could put that bit there. And
that's the thing. I don't think you lot have ever seen my bedroom. Oh, no, you have.
Does it look like a Jackson Pollock painting?
No.
Edward.
I wanted to get a quick Guardians reference.
Just because I've got a mirrored ceiling. No.
How do you do cocaine off the ceiling? What?
Oh, you can find a way. It's
frozen in the air. And
ironically, my bedroom would be perfect for something like that because it's really long, and I've got so much space in it that it'd be perfect for it. But it's not settled that way.
No.
I'm just wondering because
there are three ways to play the VR setup. There's sitting, which is the head tracking only. So you basically get the game, but you get the nice to be able to go, what's to the left, what's right. Car games, there's lots of them for that purpose. You then get standing room, which is designed. I can stand up and do little bits, and then you get room scale, which could do with about 2 foot either side more than.
So what? As we all know, anybody that owned a Wii, which was everyone. When you got to play tennis, and you got to play over here, and you got to run about, and you got to do, and you were dripping with sweat now, and then
you were a TV down because you hadn't put
3 weeks later, you were sitting on your sofa doing that.
Yep.
Because you worked out you didn't need to run around the room.
I mean, I think this is a more compelling example of sort of the immersion thing than the Wii. Because I thought the Wii was very much a gimmick, and there's no one uses motion controls now.
The thing is, I'd argue otherwise. I still think the Wii has a place in people's homes, a family game and a fun thing to play. Because it used to be fun to play Mario Kart and actually.
I'm with on this one. If you've got young children, it's the easiest games console to crack open to get them interested.
But it was also a good party game.
Yeah, I mean, because you'd also play GameCube games, so you could play some good games.
You are just catty, man.
The best thing about the Wii
was
the fact that it had the online function, so you could download N64 games.
Yeah, and loads of their platform have done it.
That's how I felt. Anyway.
My favourite thing about the Wii was the fact that an SD card could turn it into any game you didn't want to have to pay for. I'm not suggesting that I jailbroke my...
Yeah, the piracy was rampant.
But my God, it was easy
to clarify,
to
is this you purchasing games...
legitimately?
In the same way that Sam Amazon perfectly legitimately... purchases Blu-ray copies.
Yes.
And all the films that he watches.
And I get them sent via next minute delivery from
I know you're lying. I know you're lying. Whatever. I did it with my left eye. Sort of moment right here. Yes. It was one of the best features.
At least it's not a record of all the illegal activities that we've all committed.
I think
because this is all legitimate.
The Wii wasn't a particularly compelling advertisement for it was cool initially, but it ran off super quickly.
My friend once told me the fact of the Wii has single-handedly changed the games system forever.
I hate to
within 6 months he was being made to eat his words. It was quite fun.
I hate to say
we all did. But then you had the Kinect after it that also wasn't terribly compelling.
What was the PlayStation one? Move,
the Move was another one.
The Move was even worse than the Kinect.
Yeah.
Do you remember that night that we tried to use the Move?
I don't remember using it.
I don't think we could get it to work.
Was it Dave Healy?
Yeah. Or Dave Lee. I think Dave Healy brought it and we were at Dave Lee's. And we couldn't get, I think, one of the 2 controllers to sync up.
It was something to do with the space, wasn't it? It was like you couldn't get the one far enough away from the other one or something ridiculous like that.
Terrible.
Compared to those sort of halfway houses, though, this feels a lot more compelling.
Yeah, but this is why I'd say the Wii did change it, because it advertised the fun factor people liked motion and the failings of people who did it wrong, and it's driven something
the Wii and the DS as well, the original DS, also brought games to a much wider audience. Because both
something Nintendo does incredibly well.
Remember, the original DS is the second best-selling console of all time,
and that was
the PS2.
They class the DS as a console.
Yeah, it's
a game system. It's a game system.
Because of the brain training thing, wasn't it? The brain training and Professor Layton's, because grown-ups and kids like those alike, and that
the DS had an amazing library of games. Because it had your more casual games out there. It had a load of shovelware, but it also had some really amazing games on it. Because like the PS2, it just had everyone developing for it. Mm-hmm. So sure, you got a load of garbage, but you didn't buy the garbage. So if 1 in 100 games was good, and you had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games, that was still a massive library to work with.
With the DS,
good tech bit.
DS is one of the best consoles I've ever owned.
With the DS, did it ever have an iteration of it where it had internet connectivity?
Yeah, the DSi.
Right.
And then the 3DS later on.
Sound right.
The 2DS, which is the most awkward-looking piece of shit.
I never saw the 3DS, so I didn't really understand the concept of how it was supposed to work.
Right, think of like a standard DS, and then make that top screen that folds open 3-dimensional. There you go.
Like Glasses 3D. It's actually quite a compelling effect.
It worked. It did.
I look at you, go, ooh.
But you had to hold it perfectly still because too much wobbling in your eyes had to go.
I just find it gave me a really bad headache. So a lot of the time when actually playing...
Because couldn't you... I was going to say, you could choose to turn it off.
You could increase and decrease.
Most people do turn it off. And as you were saying, we've got the 2DS now, which is a 3DS without the 3D.
It just doesn't make any sense.
But it had again, the 3DS had a great library.
The thing is, the actual 3D effect was really good, and it did some lovely features, such as a 3D camera. So you could actually take 3D
the
pictures.
camera was awful.
I didn't say it was good quality. I just said
terrible.
Was it better or worse than the Game Boy camera?
Better.
It
wasn't black and white.
Are you scratching your head for the reason I think you're scratching your head?
Did you own the printer as well?
4-colour printer, yeah. I didn't
have any of these things.
Well, it had 4 shades of grayscale.
I thought it just had blocks.
They had 4 shades of grayscale and
50 Shades of Grey.
4 shades of grey, which is like, I don't know, it's like a very slight like whipping and I'm bored now. Should we watch telly?
Probably maybe at best
it's a light tickle.
something to stick up your ass.
Yeah, and then just watch telly.
Why do we always have to bring it back to sticking things in your ass?
You know what it is with Paul?
I'm going to say that's Paul's life.
Monkey see, monkey do.
The thing is, Paul judges everything. It's like,
never take him to.
Does it involve anything you can just stick up your ass?
Yeah, it's just like when he's at work, he's like, it looks at him, it's like, I wonder if that would go up my bum.
But isn't that something? Isn't
that where are you going with that?
Didn't a stand-up comedian do a joke about a monkey that was sticking stuff up its ass because at some point it had eaten a peach whole and swallowed the nut,
the
stone, and then couldn't pass it. So from that point on, it had always stuck things up its ass first before eating it.
That does ring a bell, and I can't think who it is that said it. It was a case of, does it fit up my ass first of all? If it does, brilliant, I can put it in.
We're like, what's he doing?
There's a certain twisted logic to it.
Well, yeah,
get it, don't you? Like,
well, it's only the same. That's basically the principle of why cats have whiskers.
So I was just going to say, Paul hates my cats that much, but he went. So you know the principle about cats' whiskers, so that they can work out whether they can fit through stuff. And I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, I think you should trim their whiskers. So
some fuck will have done that.
Yes.
Some evil bastard will have definitely done that.
I could imagine doing that. That does seem like good
But
fun.
it's like they've got like little sort of sensor hairs on their back as well. And if you tape them down,
that
one I'm quite sure how
strangely enough, bringing back what Ed said probably about half an hour or so ago, where about putting a piece of cheese on.
Have you not seen the video?
It's not cheese, it's tape.
No.
If you put tape...
No, there's a video, it's a meme video floats around YouTube, and they drop a piece of that flat, like American square cheese, and it lands on the cat's head and he just goes... and just falls backwards.
The one that I'd seen was if you put tape on a cat's back, it doesn't know what to do, so it just gets its belly lower to the ground.
Yeah, because it's like sensor hair, so
put it on its stomach and it'll go onto its tiptoes.
Is there something as well? If you
put it on its side, it'll strafe.
Put it on their pads and they don't really know what to do.
Well, I know what I'm doing when I get into that.
No.
Do we feel like we've covered the joys of VR?
We're talking about how to put tape on cats.
Yeah, I feel like this...
which I feel should be a VR game.
Are you saying that we've somehow managed to...
get off
drift off topic?
That would be very unusual for us.
It'd be nothing like
just for you, I'd like to come back to drifting off topic, because at the start of the NFL podcast that might have been done at a previous point in time, you know,
certainly not the
separation. It definitely wasn't
Couldn't
this
possibly
evening.
the same day.
You just wear the same clothes like
all the time.
Yeah.
It started with da 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 da. Oh my God, is that the worst we've ever gone off topic? And I went, no, the worst we ever went off topic
was KFC.
Was when Ed started talking about KFC.
Within like 10 seconds.
It's his fault. At which point we went through the entire story of Ed going off topic talking about KFC.
I didn't just want to leave it. I wanted to explain
the two things together.
What was it called?
It's gone fully recursive now.
What, for the double decker down?
Oh, I thought it was the supercharger.
So we need to splice that into the NFL podcast.
So I've given my opinion. He's given his opinion. You've given sort of.
I'm the one who owns it, so we all know my opinion.
So
love it.
That was super fun. I'm not even joking. The moment I turn this off, I'm like, Ed, what are you doing tomorrow night?
It does make me think if it was possible to get a drum kit.
You need to play Beat Saber.
That would be incredible.
I'm going to say, when we pack this up, I'm going to put you on it.
You need to play Beat Saber.
Literally,
you are going to have
not whatever
trouser issues.
Fair enough, that sounds excellent, but it would be a case of, rather than whatever that game is, it would be a case of you just sit down and in front of you would be
a drum kit.
and it would be responsive to everything you do.
There is a Rock Band VR game.
Holy fucking balls.
I have a small little thing that's meant to attach to those controls to make it more comfortable to pretend you're actually using guitar.
Because this isn't a VR thing, but there is something out there called it's something called a clip hit. And it's something that basically what you do is you have these sensors that you clip to any surface, and it will turn that surface into a drum kit.
Oh yeah.
And I think these are incredible.
Conduct electric pads. This thing hit that and it makes the...
So you buy different pads or different clips pitches based on which parts of the kit that you want.
Yeah.
And then you've got something that you can turn into a drum kit. It sounds incredible.
Yeah.
And I think that only costs about £99.
There won't be, dear, as say, because all it is a conductive pad.
Yeah.
And that's canny.
Unbelievable.
And actually, we're certainly lower cost barrier to entry than VR is, but...
Each their own. So... I'd encourage anyone who gets the chance, play it. Play any form of VR you can, just for the experience.
There's loads of demo places.
Everybody go out.
That was going to be my point. Is it a case of?
So I played it. That's where I played it the first time in demo. I felt violently ill. So.
Do you? Is this the sort of thing that you go to a game, and electronic?
I don't think it was a game that I can't remember where I did try it out, but it was. It wasn't at a game store.
No, I don't think you're walking into a high street game and going, "Can I try your VR?" Because they're
more likely to be like a Curry's.
Yes, more of a
hardware store. Rather
than
Why did I try it? It was. I'm fairly sure.
Like if you went somewhere, I imagine if you went somewhere like the Designer Outlet, there'd be somewhere out in the middle of the floor.
So not a store.
Try VR.
It would be a stand.
Yeah, it would be a specific company selling a specific thing. Okay. I have never seen one to try,
no,
but I knew that Ed had one, and I often and ah around do I get the one for the PlayStation. Now, something I meant to say about the PlayStation one. Apparently, the PlayStation headset is notoriously uncomfortable. All I've ever heard people say is, "Oh, you're going to put that thing on your head that's really uncomfortable for something that's
pretty comfortable
to be on your head."
Yeah,
it got a little sweaty. I think we all said it was a little sweaty.
Yeah, that was the only thing that would have been my main sort of concern / issue with it. But it didn't feel uncomfortable. It didn't feel tight. It didn't feel.
No, it fit real nice.
Yeah, for short periods they're fine. They've got some weight to them, but they do support well. But after 10 minutes, 20 minutes, they do start to really pressure on your face and your eyes.
Is it time for a fag?
Just starting to think about it. Just thinking about it.
Shall we take that as a cue then?
Yes, I think we've done well. We kept it within a good
time.
Right,
boys.
And
cool.
Our topic twice, 3 times.
Bye everybody.
Bye everybody.
Bye.
Which one do we push? This one? Top one.
Top one. Press it twice.
Right.
I express the full.
So there we go. What do you think to that one? Another Techiecast in the bag. More to come down the line, I'm sure. Sam and Ed, I think they're going to get together again and discuss more tech-related things. So tune in for that further down the line. All you YouTube watchers, get your subscribe on, get your notifications going so that you can see when we here at Cookiecast post new videos. Everybody can get yourselves over to thecookiecast.com. Check us out on our social media feed. Send us some social media love. Even drop us an email. So yeah, tune in next time for more exciting podcasts. But until then, I'll say bye-bye. See ya.